Welcome to the DUDEBROMEDIUM podcast, where we break down spiritual stuff in a way that actually makes sense. Because it should be useful, not weird. I'm your host, Jess, psychic medium and spiritual teacher. Welcome back to the DUDEBROMEDIUM podcast. Today we're shining some light on the stuff that your guides actually love when you do. Trust me, it's not about meditating in the dark or going to find some guru on a mountain or buying a really overpriced crystal. Let's get into it. Number 1, you actually ask for help and mean it. Your guides love when you drop the lone wolf act and ask for support. No shame, no ego, whether it's a messy prayer or what the F am I supposed to do, or just a little whispered check-in, an internal thought, they're down. They're here for it. They're having a party. You don't have to do it all alone. And your team is stoked when you reach out. The way that I like to think about it is like, think about how happy your grandparents are when you visit them. They are so happy to see you. And every time you go, you think, I should do this more often. And in the same respect, you can ask your guides for help. And I mean, we talk about this in the episode about what not to do with your guides. We talk a little bit about how to ask for help and what to do when they answer and all of that stuff. But here, I just want to add the little side note that it doesn't always have to be asking for guidance. It is so powerful just to check in and say, thank you, I'm so grateful. Even just having a gratitude practice is like having a connection with your guides. Just remember to check in every once in a while, okay? Number 2, you trust your gut even when it's weird. Nothing makes your guides happier than you following that random nudge, even if it makes 0 sense. I always talk about this. If you get one thing from my page, my channel, a random thing that came across your life, I don't know, it is that your intuition is always king. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about that feeling when you can't sleep and it's 2 a.m. and you feel like texting your ex. That's maybe not what we're talking about. But when you're going home and you just get that nudge to take the other way today. That kind of thing. The whole point of our guides is to drop these little messages for us, to guide us, to be that internal whisper. And so when we follow it, it's like the highway to success, I choose to believe that God, the universe, our guide, whatever you want to call it, is always going to lead us to the same path. So if you're not following those nudges, it's not the end of the world. You should end up where you were supposed to be anyways. But the more that you can tune in and follow your intuition the first time, the faster you're going to get there. Reminder, you always have free will and you can do whatever the hell you want. But for the sake of this video, follow the breadcrumbs, follow the nudges, trust the weirdness. Number 3, you can laugh at yourself and at life. Spiritual growth isn't all shadow work and tears, even though that stuff is important. Your guides are obsessed with you finding humor in the chaos. When you can meme your struggles or laugh at your own crap, you are high vibing and they are cheering you on. It is so easy to be derailed when some little thing goes wrong. I really do understand that, especially because I am some kind of neurodivergent. We don't know exactly what yet. It is so easy to get derailed by the small stuff. And so when you can just laugh it off and keep going, your guides love that for you. Number 4, you set boundaries and you stick to them. Your guides are not about the doormat energy. We only like BDE here. And that is for every gender. If you don't know what BDE is, message me. I'll tell you. Unless you're my mom, then I'm not going to tell you. When you say no to energy vampires, toxic jobs, or your cousin's MLM pitch, your spirit team is giving you a standing ovation. Boundaries are self-love and they are here for it. Again, it goes back a little bit to number 3, right? Whenever we follow our intuition, when you say no, when you want to say yes, when you say yes, when you want to say no, we are rewarded both spiritually, but also in the very 3D realm by making promises and sticking to them. And so if we know that we're a little bit spread too thin this month and we say yes to that birthday party that we don't really want to go to anyways, we're not acting in alignment. We're not being responsible. We're lacking integrity. And so your guide is like, again, your nonna or your big sister. And so when we do things that are out of alignment, out of integrity, that don't feel good, that go against what our intuition is saying, they're not going to be so happy with you. And so, on the other hand, when you do that, I said do, they're going to extra cheer you on. Number 5, on the topic of cheering, your guides love when you celebrate your wins, even the tiny ones. And this is one of the hardest things to do, but every time you celebrate yourself, whether it's getting out of bed on a rough day or landing a new client, or just having a really good hair day, because that's harder than it sounds like. Your guides are popping the spiritual champagne. They want you to own your growth and hype yourself up no matter how small the win. And that is also what I was saying. Like, we don't want to just check in when we're freaking out, right? We want to also be like, yes, thank you for having my back. Thank you for the sign that this was the right decision, because I was just following the breadcrumbs and I felt a little bit crazy. It's all about like a communication. And if you don't like the idea of this like jury of ghosts judging you, I totally get that. Sometimes when I'm not feeling particularly esoteric, I like to think of this idea of my guides, or because it does kind of feel like a jury, right? It feels like people like judging you good and bad and then leading you towards something better. And so sometimes I just like to think of it as like the best version of me that I'm checking in with. Because your guides, if you choose to believe in them, are really just there for your highest and best. And if we want to get into their different seats and what they do and what they help you do, we can do that in another episode. But when I'm not feeling particularly esoteric, instead of imagining this tribunal of ghosts, I just think about it like my future self, my highest self, the part of me that is most connected to God, the universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it. That is what I like to think of. That is who I like to check in with. Either way, you always have free will. And I know that you're doing your best. And as long as you know you're doing your best, because who am I to say? As long as you know that you're doing your best, or even if you're just trying to do your best, and that's going to look different on a day-to-day basis, that's all that really matters. If this episode hit home, screenshot it and tag me at DUDEBROMEDIUM on Instagram. Want your own no BS reading? Hit the link in my bio. And if you laughed, learned, or just needed this real talk, please leave a comment or a review. It helps more chill but curious people find me. See you next time. Stay weird, stay grounded, and don't forget, your guides are rooting for you, even when you fuck up. I promise. Thanks for listening to the Dude Bro Medium podcast. If it resonated, share it, send it to a friend, or whisper it to your spirit guides. Whatever works for you. See you next time.